I'm Roger with Roger's Outdoor Channel. Today I'd like to talk to you about charter boat fishing. If you're just kind of learning how to get into fishing, the best way to really get a jump start on the thing is to go out with somebody that knows how to fish, somebody that's got a lot of experience, can take you to where the fish are likely to be and use the right lure or bait that they're likely to bite on, and just kind of get you started with a positive experience where you go fishing and you actually catch something and have an opportunity to eat it and just really enjoy the whole experience of having something on the end of your line wiggling and kind of fighting you for the to see if it can pull you in or you can pull it out. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. It's probably one of, if not my favorite pastime, it's right up there, in the top two, one or two. So the way I kind of learned, fishing. I mean, I learned, I learned my fishing growing up, and I had a bunch of mentors around me to show me. But again, the best way, if you don't have that, I teach classes on beginning fishing, where to kids 5 to 15, and they have to be accompanied by a parent. And the reason, and that class fills up, and the reason is the parent doesn't, I'm not teaching the kid, I'm teaching the parent, because the parent doesn't know the secrets of how to fish. And time after time, I'll be in a sporting goods store and picking out some lures, and people come up to me and say, I don't know how to fish, I'm supposed to go out camping this weekend, and somebody says, get something to catch some fish, and I don't know how to do that. So the real basics is talk to somebody, go out with somebody that knows how to fish. A charter boat person is, that you're most likely expert that you can really count on to know how to do it, and they've, if you go out on a charter boat, whether you go out in Puget Sound with a saltwater guide, or you go out in Lake Washington with somebody that's going to just teach you how to catch perch, whether you go out in the ocean with Westport charters or deep sea charters, or have guides that will put you in a riverboat to float different rivers for salmon and steelhead and sturgeon and all the the good tasting fish that we have, that we're able to enjoy here in Washington anyway. And each guide, the more the fewer the people that there are involved, if you go out on a boat with one or two other people, it's going to be a little bit pricier, just to kind of compensate the guide for his equipment and his time. But if you go out on a bigger charter boat, out of Westport, for example, where there's 15 or 20 people on board, and that cuts the rate down, you could get it down considerably. To give you a couple of just ballpark examples, if you go with one other person on a Columbia River trip, you can probably expect to pay about $175, $200 per person for maybe a 6 or 8 hour trip. If you go out on a charter boat out of Westport, and there's 15, 20 other people on board, you can expect to pay $150, $175, depending on what the trip entails. If you're going strictly for bottom fish, for example, and I recommend that particular trip because you can go out and you pay your $150. Typical trip might not take off till 6, 7 in the morning and get back at 1 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon, but you're going to have limits of fish. You get 7 bottom fish and a couple of lingcod. You'll have enough poundage of fish fillets. They clean it for you. They provide the rod, the reel, the bait. They'll clean the fish. They'll fillet it. Put it in a bag so you can just take it home and just throw it on your barbecue and eat it. So it's a good experience, and oftentimes you pay $150 and you come back with 10, 15, 20 pounds of fish. So you know, and the same with salmon. If you time your trip right, you know, I've been doing this, you know, salmon fishing out of a charter boat for many years, and I've learned the secrets on how to do it. You know, there's a certain way. You know, I fish out of Westport primarily, and there's a certain way that you can manipulate your bait. They like to use like a you know, mooching, what they call mooching, where you have a herring, either plug cut or whole herring, and you drop it down to the bottom, and you drop it down slowly. You know, you kind of peel out line, and to make it look like it died up here and it's kind of drifting down in jerks. And the same, once you get down to a certain depth, I mean, the captain will say, oh, the fish, looking at the graph, and the fish are at 50 feet, try to, you know, fish from 40, you know, really work at the 40 to 70 feet. You know, so you drop your feet, you know, your bait down to 40, and you go jerk, 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 get it down to 70, and then you crank up. And I like to do a stop and start crank, because I've watched bait fish, you know, that are injured, and they you know, they'll lay there stunned for a little while, and then they get oxygen in their gills, and they'll swim a little bit, and then they stop, they're all petered out. They'll wait there, and then they swim a little bit more to try to escape or get you know, get the blood flowing again. That's the motion I want to represent when I'm working my bait up and down. I even have different parts of the boat that I say, oh, I'll catch more in the bow of the boat or the stern of the boat. I'm not going to tell you which one is my favorite, but you can go to the captain and say, I want that spot, you know, and he'll tie a little ribbon around it and say that spot is reserved for, you know, for Charlie here. He wants to, you know, that in the morning. And but you know, what I do when I'm going out, you know, to Westport, for example. You know, those trips usually have to be on the ship at like 5:30 in the morning, and a lot of times we don't get back till like 4 in the afternoon. So it's a big long day, and you pack a lunch, and you know, bring a cooler with some ice in it to bring your fish back, and you know, just you know, if you aren't experienced, you might want to take some Dramamine or something like that if you feel like you might be woozy out on the boat. I'm a little bit, you know, have some, I'm able to weather that kind of rocking type motion most of the time. But, you know, if you learn with these guides, you know, here's, you know, like next week I'm going out on the Columbia River with a guide for fishing with walleye. And that trip will cost me about roughly $200, $175 I think it is, with 2 other guys, and I can expect to come back with anywhere from 5 to 10 fish, you know, depending on how well they're biting that. I mean, this guy's good, and I fished with him before, and he, you know, he knows just how to present that bait in the water and just exactly where they should be at certain times of the day and that sort of thing. And those are the kind of things you need to learn as a first-time fisherman or an infrequent fisherman. And then once you learn it, you can go out on your own. You know, get your own little canoe or kayak or you know, power boat and go out there and catch your own. I mean, I go out in my canoe in Lake Washington, which is about 2 blocks from my house. I'm probably out there a dozen times or more each summer, and I just, you know, I think last summer I caught like over 500 perch or bass or crappie, you know, that I would fillet and give away to people, you know, friends that I knew, and it's just a riot. I just love being out there. So if you see me out there fishing, you know, don't forget to wave and you know, ask what they're biting on, and I'll give you a secret, you know, give you my secret. So check in with me.